Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's DIY tutorial I'm going to show you how I made this button-up summer dress. I made this dress without using a pattern. It's a rather easy sewing project, ideal for beginners. I made this dress from a bed sheet that I bought in the thrift store. I like using duvets, bed sheet and curtains to make dresses because it's a lot cheaper and you might save a piece of fabric from ending up in a landfill. I started this project by making the top part. It consists out of 3 parts. Part A, B and C. Part A and B have the buttons and cover the front part until a little bit more of the half of your bra. Part C covers the back and the rest of the front part. The first thing to do is to make part A. I'm going to copy a dress with a triangle-like V-cut to help guide me. You can use a triangle bikini or a bra if you don't have anything similar to this. I folded the dress double and copied the cleavage line at the top. I drew the line a few centimeters farther to add place for the buttons. To decide the length of the top, I put the dress on and marked the line a little bit above my belly button. Then I copied that line on the fabric and connected it with the cleavage line. Complete the sketch and cut it out. Don't forget to leave some space for seam allowance. If you enjoyed this video so far, please give it a big thumbs up as this really helps me grow here on YouTube. Next I hemmed the sides with a little help of my ironer. Then I introduced part A to my sewing machine. I'm going to copy part A to make part B. I added a few extra centimeters to part B for the buttons. Cut part B out and hem the edges in the same way as you did with part A. Lay part A on part B, right sides together and draw a line at the end of part A. This way you mark a place for the buttons. Next I marked 3 spots for the buttons, around 8 centimeters or 3.14 inches from each other. Then I sewed the buttons on the spots. I will link a video down below on how to sew buttons to the fabric for those of you who do not know. Once the buttons were sewed on, I cut the buttonholes. Lay part A on top of the buttons and mark a line on each button. Next, cut these lines with your scissor. I'm going to secure the end of the buttonholes later in the video together with all the buttonholes on the dress. Next we are going to make part C. I used a few clothespins to attach the front to my bra. Now I'm going to use my measuring tape to measure the length of part C. I will at least need 51 centimeters to make part C. I drew a 50 centimeter line on a piece of fabric. I used the lines of the front piece to make the one on the back. Connect this little part between them. Next I marked the length and connected these 2 lines. Cut part C out. Don't forget to leave a little extra fabric on the sides for the seam allowance. Hem the top part of part C and sew this. Next, I connected the 3 parts. I ironed a little part over at the sides to make this easier. Next, I'm going to add 2 darts to give the top a better fit. Darts are little folds made in fabric to provide a better shape or fit in clothing. Darts are quite easy to make. Simply squeeze the fabric together under your bra. Use a few pins to secure the folds. Now mark the folds you created with some chalk. I made these darts on the seam that already existed from sewing parts A, B and C together. Then I finished the line and sewed the folds in. Now I'm going to measure my shoulders for the straps. I will need 44 centimeters. I drew a box from 44 centimeters on 4 centimeters or 1.6 inches on a piece of fabric and cut it out. Fold both ends of the strap to the middle, iron this flat. Now fold this in half and iron this flat as well. Introduce the strap to your sewing machine and ta-da! You have a strap. Connect one end of the strap to the front of your top. Put the top on and mark the spot at the back. Attach the straps to finish the top. I put on a long skirt to give myself an idea of the length that I wanted for the dress. This skirt is 75 centimeters. I measured this on the rest of my bedsheet and cut it out. The waist length of my skirt is 160 centimeters. I'm going to gather this fabric and you don't need precise measurements when you gather. Just make sure that your fabric is at least 1.5 times your waist. Next, I hemmed both sides of the skirt. I'm going to mark a place for the buttons on the skirt, so they are even with the ones on the top. Now it's time to gather the skirt. There are a few techniques that you can use. I gather my skirts by sewing a piece of yarn to the top of the fabric using a zigzag stitch. Make sure that you sew the yarn inside the stitches and not stuck in the stitches. Knot the end of the yarn at one part of the fabric. Now you can pull on the other side of the line and slide the fabric along it. I first drew a line on the place that I wanted to stitch my yarn. Draw this line between your marking lines, so the part for the buttons remained flat. Then I stitched the yarn to the fabric using a zigzag stitch. Knot the end of one part of the yarn so it cannot be pulled out. Slide the fabric along the line so it gathers up nicely. Now I'm going to attach the top part to the skirt. I first pinned the ends of the top and the skirt together. Then I pulled the yarn until the skirt and top part are the same size. Pin the two parts together, make sure that they are perfectly even. Check that the piece that you foreseen for the buttons adds up nicely with the one on the top. Sew the skirt to the top. A tip is to sew under your line of pins so the fabric doesn't shift around. Next I cut the yarn and pulled it out. I did not remove the zigzag stitches, but you are free to do so. Next I'm going to add the buttons. I marked a point every 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches for the buttons. I used 10 buttons in total, 3 at the top and 7 at the skirt. Sew the buttons on the skirt. Lay your second piece of fabric on the buttons and draw a line on each button. Cut those lines so you create buttonholes. Now I'm going to secure the buttonholes by hand. I'm not a professional at this, I just stitched around the buttonholes until the fabric was covered. The last step is to sew the pockets. You can sew a regular pocket, but I sewed them as the model that I'd seen on Pinterest. Lay your hand flat on a piece of fabric and draw a rectangle around it. Cut this out and copy it for the second pocket. Fold the top edges from the pocket over and sew them. Hem the sides of the pockets and pin them in place. Try to make them as similar as possible. I put the dress on and marked the sides of the dress to help me choose the place of the pockets. I placed mine at the height of the 5th button. Mark the place where you want to sew the pocket and sew the pocket. I used my measuring tape to place the second pocket on the same height. Mark the spot where you want the pocket to be and sew it in place. Okay, that was it. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!